Hello and welcome to KryptosChain. My name is Claudio, and in today's video I'm going to continue off from yesterday's part 1 video, which was the discussions of Polkadot Open Gov. In today's video I'll be looking at the active referendums, and these are the latest referendums that have been added since the last OpenGov video that I did, where I've been discussing the active referendums. And let's kick it off with Subsquid here, who's looking for funding for Q2 of 2023 for public data indexing infrastructure for Polkadot and Kusama. So this is retroactive. They're looking for 58,253.66 DOT here. And this is mostly for the archives. So they're saying that archives are an important piece of Polkadot and Kusama data infrastructure provided by Subsquid. They provide access to on-chain data in GraphQL format for all major parachains on Kusama and Polkadot, with more chains getting support as the ecosystem grows. And they're being used as a data source for squids and for efficient data exploration and ad hoc queries. An up-to-date list of archives is kept in a public archive registry. They're saying that the archives as performant data sources of historical on-chain data are critical to the operation of backend APIs run by major projects in the Polkadot ecosystem. So this is the full list of all the different projects running their APIs. You can see Polka Assembly, Talisman, Remark, Subwallet, etc. Even Fala as well. So quite a lot of them are using it, and they do need these archives, okay? And so that's why they've been providing the service for quite a while, and they're just looking for that retroactive funding. And the referendum isn't doing bad at all. As you can see here, they are passing with 85.8% in I votes, 14.2% in knee votes, because they've got 12.2 million DOT in support and only 2 million DOT in knee votes here, as you can see. And there's still some time left, right? We're in decision period 19 out of 28. Okay, so only 9 days left before a decision. And then they'll know for sure if they're going to get the funding. It's looking pretty healthy here. I don't think they're going to have any problems. I mean, these guys have been contributing for such a long time. I've mentioned them in yesterday's video as well with the discussions. But they're working with so many different teams, so you're constantly going to see proposals from these guys. Okay, it's not going to be new. So don't think of it as, you know, they're just like the same team requesting a lot of funding, but they're doing it for different things, for different features, right, that they're offering the ecosystem, because they're working with so many teams. So that's what we got to remember here, that data is required by everybody, right? And so these guys are the data providers at the end of the day. For random 146 by Kagome, the C++ implementation of Polkadot host milestone 2. They're looking for a whopping 253,862 DOT. That is a lot of money. That's like $1 million, okay? A lot of money. I didn't really understand this, to be fair. It is a very technical proposal. They're basically a C++ implementation of the Polkadot host that is protocol compatible with the original implementation in Rust. Can already be used to run relay chain validators and syncing nodes. With Kagome and other client implementations, they bring client diversity to Polkadot, mitigation risks of fatal bugs in a single client implementation, bringing innovations and broadening the development community. You may watch the most recent presentation during Polkadot Decoded 2023 to learn more about Kagome. So they did a presentation there at Polkadot Decoded that you can check out if you are interested. And you could also see their historical treasury grant requests on Kusama. So during the previous work they did as part of Kusama, they've achieved the following results. So Parachain protocol integration, light clients compatibility, support for fast and warp synchronizations, and multi-threading execution here. Now, the goals of this specific proposal is to prepare Kagome for the upcoming features of Polkadot, such as asynchronous backing, sassafras, beefy, and so on. They also plan to further improve Kagome by improving RPC and WASM performance. Additionally, they plan to conduct an external security audit to build confidence in Kagome amongst node operators. Now, apparently, to achieve all of this, they're going to work on a new proposal scope, which will be a joint effort between Quadrivium, Soramitsu, and SR Labs. And I know that a lot of people aren't happy with Soramitsu because of Sora Network, right? Apparently, a lot of community members are against Sora Network, and that's why you're not seeing the crowd loan do extremely well either. It is mostly themselves supporting it. Of course, there are other people in the community that are supporting it, mostly holders, but there is a lot of FUD around that at the moment. So, you know, there's also quite a lot of FUD regarding this specific proposal because they're associated to Soramitsu. They're going to work together. But apparently people are bullish on Quadrivium. Apparently they're doing a good job. And so that's going to be good. Again, I'm not very familiar with what's going to happen in this proposal, but because again, it is very technical. But ultimately, this is the breakdown of what they're going to do here, working together with those teams, optimize Merkle storage, RPC improvements, caching and new interfaces, asynchronous backing, lib P2P improvements, Sassafras, Beefy, new WASM engine, general maintenance, development infrastructure integration test with ZombieNet, and security audit. And of course, you can check the full proposal breakdown if you're interested, but they are getting a lot of knees, right? They are losing at the moment. $12.7 million in A votes, $8.5 million in I votes, as we can see here, with 59.8% knees. There is still some time left. They're only in day 16 out of 28. So there's quite some time left before we'll know exactly what's going to happen. They've been asked to join Diku Samarian on AAG as well. So this is a positive comment by David here. He's basically giving you the reasons why he's supporting his proposal. Okay, so compared to other networks that publicly celebrated the funded additional implementations because of Kagome, Kusama currently already has 2 implementations and might be the only network besides Ethereum that has it. The included SR Labs audit makes a lot of sense and addresses one of the biggest concerns that they would have running this software as a validator at the moment, and he personally sees it as positive that Quadrivium, which is a separate entity, is completely focused on Kagome, so he believes that this is justified. One guy here saying Sora Mitsu scam, look at Sora community wrecked by Makoto, so again just a person who lost money from their investments. And Bill here from the Web3 Foundation voted aye. Quadrivium has been a solid development team producing Kagome and is the first team to have an alternative implementation of the Polkadot host in the active validator set on Kusama. I believe this is strategically important and sets the Polkadot ecosystem apart from others. I don't think there are any other major ecosystems with multiple independent implementations of the node software aside from Bitcoin and perhaps some of its forks and Ethereum, and those are much simpler than Polkadot. I've seen Camille's and his team's talents firsthand, and I'm happy to vote in favor of this proposal. And seeing this comment has made me believe in it more, because again, I was not very familiar with what they're doing because I don't understand all the technicalities behind it. But if Bill gives the I vote and he explained why here, you know, it makes sense. But again, there is something else. There is something else, and this is Ivy. Ivy is a whale, one of the whales, because there are quite a lot of them in the ecosystem. And so Ivy is also very technical, and he's saying here, thank you for submitting this proposal. While this is an ambitious project, we struggle to understand the current demand for this proposal's deliverables. In the future, we believe Kagome may be useful in the event an actor attempts to break the Polkadot client for resilience purposes. That said, we view Open Gov, and in particular the root and whitelist tracks, as sufficient frameworks to manage the potential impacts of this hypothetical scenario in the interim. KML, who's working with the Kagome project, is answering his concerns here, as you can see. So yeah, have a read of this if you want. I'm not going to do that because it would take very, very long to do that. But it just shows you here, right? You get different opinions from different people. So even a well-known figure like Bill Laboon, okay, he's the director of the Web3 Foundation. He's been in the space for quite some time. Is supporting this proposal. You get Ivy, who's also a very technical individual, or a team. Apparently, they claim to be a team. Who are known to vote quite heavily in Polkadot Open Gov as of recently, and they have a lot of stake. They've got like 7 million DOT that they vote with, and so that is a lot of stake. Again, that's all with delegations as well, and so they can have a big say in this proposal. And as you can see here, it's losing because of this, okay, because of that 7 million DOT. Otherwise, he would have won with 8.5 million DOT in I votes, but there are other whales that can vote for this in the meantime. So, you know, many things could happen and could turn this around. And here you can see more information on it if you are interested here on the Polkadot Kagome implementation. This is the actual proposal itself. And this is the previous proposal delivery that they've worked on, as you can see here. And look, they're showing the whole team here. So Quadrivium has an engineer manager. They've got 5 senior C++ developers, and they're expensive. Okay, there's also Soramitsu, cross-functional tech team. They've got a QA engineer who's going to do the testing, DevOps engineer who's going to make sure that the infrastructure is working, especially when it comes to deployments and stuff. Application security engineer. There's also the SR Labs team here, a code assurance lead, and 3 senior code assurance auditors as well. This is going to last for 6 months, starting from September until February. and the regular deliverables to the GitHub repo under Apache 2.0 license during the entire development period, reviewed by the Web3 Technologies Foundation technical team. And here you can see how the development is going to be split in terms of estimated hours on asynchronous backing on the different components here, as you can see. So they've done a really good job at splitting every bit of information here to make sure that they're showing legitimacy here, and they have delivered a previous proposal. Okay, let's move on and talk about the next one here. Again, Notifi network referendum 147 was a mistake. Okay, so you can ignore and need this one if you want. And then referendum 148 is the correct one by Notifi. Okay, communication and notification tooling for Polkadot's broader ecosystem. And this is a version 2 proposal. They're requesting 35,008.39 DOT here. And this is similar to the Web3 alerts proposal that we've seen in the past on Kusama, where you get notifications as a technical team. And so they're going to do something similar here, but it is a bit different apparently. It is going to be more advanced. So Notifi Network is a cross-chain communication and messaging infrastructure designed specifically for Web3 builders. Notifi's platform offers the dev tools designed for Web3 projects to start sending near real-time alerts to end users. This allows Web3 developers and marketers to create highly custom messages, enabling Web3 teams to identify who to message and how the message is delivered. They're proposing a grant from the Polkadot Treasury that can cover the full cost of providing the services to both the Polkadot relay chain itself and its core ecosystem Parachains, and they believe that the platform can facilitate the increase in adoption of the Polkadot native platforms by new and existing users in Web3. So yeah, that's ultimately what they're going to do here. Now they are winning just about with $1.7 million in I votes and $1.6 million in nay votes, so 51.3% dominance here when it comes to winning. And we could see some of the comments here with regards to this. Some people are happy, some people aren't. For example, Dakota here from Invarch is voting aye. He's in support of it, but again, they are supporting their team. They're supporting their parachain, so he is a bit biased as well. You got to keep that in mind when it comes to parachain teams, especially if they're the ones that are supported. I'm not saying he's wrong, though. He could be totally right, and perhaps this is an even better product than Web3 alerts, but we don't know that for sure. Okay, again, I can't really give my opinion on this because I don't know enough about it to compare it to Web3 alerts and to say, yeah, this is better, or Web3 alerts is better, or I don't know, or they're both similar, you know, and maybe this doesn't deserve it, or maybe this is worse, right? So I can't really make a justified opinion on this, but it's always good to read comments from technical folks just to get an idea of where they're coming from. And Ivy left a very good comment here. Hi Notifi team, thank you for putting this proposal forward. We have several questions which will help us in the evaluation process. If there is a large demand for Notifi by teams, why is only 20% of the fee paid by customers? They understand that this proposal covers integrations for 3 parachains and 1 wallet. Future proposals are referenced. Is Notifi's expectation that the Treasury will fund 80% of integrations for every parachain and wallet. We know that Bifrost and Invarch are 2 of the first 3 parachains covered in this process. Will the 12-month period of operations in this proposal overlap with their parachain lease renewals? This is a good question. If so, have they renewed their parachain leases? We know that Nova is the first wallet that you plan to integrate with. As you may be aware, Nova has received financial support from the Treasury previously. As it relates to this proposal, why does the Treasury need to subsidize Nova further? Again, I can answer Ivy's question here. I think this is just because it would be a different feature altogether, and Nova have set a number of milestones for certain features. So that would mean that they would have to allocate time for this specific feature to be worked on, and that's why they would need extra funding for that. At least this is my understanding. Seen Nova proposals so far on Polkadot and on Kusama, right? We've seen proposals just like on Subsquid, for example. Subsquid provides the data, and so you'll see proposals working with different teams, and they'll be requesting funding for working with those specific teams because they're providing features and services for those teams. And in this case, Nova would be supporting these guys with the integration, and so that's why they would need to pay Nova. And I think this is the reason why. I could be totally wrong here. This is just my understanding of how it works, because Nova is a wallet provider. Now, just to continue on here, so if this is just the first of many proposals, assuming all the integrations are done, then what's the funding model going forward for Notifi? Why is Polkadot.js not on your list of wallet integrations? And do you have any quantifiable data you can point to which demonstrates immediate value to other ecosystems as a result of Notifi integrations? Can you provide more granularity on the cost breakdown? At first glance, it would appear that the 50K per parachain figure includes a markup from cost, which if you are seeking that the majority of these integrations are funding by the Treasury, would not be appropriate. It would also be great to understand what the Notifi team would do if this proposal did not pass. So yeah, very good questions here from Ivy. I really like this. So yeah, they've answered that question regarding Nova as well. They're saying we're given access to Polkadot wallets to leverage alerts related to parachains they support. This is something that Notifi uniquely brings to drive engagement within the Polkadot community and is therefore part of the proposal and not Nova proposals. With regards to Polkadot.js, they were not able to get in touch with the team. So again, it is very tough to get in touch with a team that is so busy. Unfortunately, KryptosChain have also voted as well, and they've left their feedback, voting as a collective here. I really like their feedback though, but they don't feedback on every single proposal. Perhaps they just focus on the small spenders, the medium spenders, and the big spenders, and not so much on the small and big tippers. But yeah, this is how it is here. Looking at the team here from Notifi, if you go to their website here, which by the way doesn't actually work when you click on the link from the proposal, you need to manually do it. Okay, it takes you to notifi.network, and then there's a percentage sign and 29 if you click on the link from the proposal and it's not correct. So you just need to go to notifi.network here, and you'll see the team. If you go to the team here, these are the guys. Paul Kim, he's the CEO and co-founder, and Nimesh is the CTO and co-founder here. And apparently they're working with, like within their team, they've got individuals that have worked with Amazon, Circle, Grab, Meta as well, and Microsoft and Oracle as well. So here you could see the full list of team members here. This guy, Juni Kim, engineer, he used to work for Roblox and also Meta as well. HSBC people as well. Scotiabank, Shopify, Oracle, Microsoft, etc. Right? So they've got a lot of people working with that worked with reputable companies. Now let's move on and talk about the next proposal here. This is proposal 150. This is a bounty, the Genesis incentive pool launched by Agyle from the Talisman team desktop wallet. And this has brought a lot of drama, to be fair. And that I would say there are two proposals that have brought a lot of drama that we're going to talk about in today's video. And this is one of them. So the incentive pool is a novel concept that I believe can enable the Treasury to implement results-based funding and generate better outcomes for DOT holders than the existing approach. The Genesis incentive pool will provide a commission for acquiring new stakers, generate more demand for the DOT token and its costs, and accelerate Talisman's transition towards sustainability. Now, the first issue that I saw with this, and again, you can watch this video because I'm not going to go through all the details here. You should look at all the different details. But ultimately, what they're trying to do here is they're trying to grow the number of stakers and the users in the ecosystem. However, they're doing so towards Talisman. Okay, so this is the main problem that I have with this specific proposal. This is number one. And number two is the very, very large amount. And I understand that this is a bounty, so they're not going to get access to the full amount here. But it is a very, very large amount, and it's putting the network at risk, in my opinion. If you hear how much they're asking for, you'll be shocked as well if you haven't already looked at this. I am going to look at it now, but just before I do, let's take a quick look at how they're standing in terms of voting here. So 81.1% are voted nay and 18.9% are voting aye. So 35 million DOT have voted nay for this and 8.1 million DOT in aye votes. And Agyle from Talisman should really remove this part here because this is what's being generated by default. Every time you launch a referendum on chain, this shows up on Polka assembly until you go in and you actually edit the proposal. So this can just be removed altogether. There's no need for this to stay here, but a lot of the comments that you're going to see here are going to be interesting to read. Like this one, for example, it's so big spend and under big risk, nay. And so the promo team who have been contributing to the ecosystem for quite some time, they're a media team as well. Strong no because it gives Talisman advantages that other ecosystem participants don't have, and other teams will come for the similar advantages and will ask for another 1, 2, 3 million DOT. It's not effective spending at all. 1 million DOT, guys, come on, are you going to invite 1 billion new users to Polkadot, or one user will cost 1 to 2K? Operational costs, 75K per month. Again, this is another issue that I've seen with this proposal is the high operational cost. Like, do they really need to pay 75K per month? I think this is just like ensuring that Talisman will never have funding problems again. And to me, that's just not fair, I think, on the rest of the community, especially because we've got other wallet teams out there, you know, like Nova, for example. There's also Sub Wallet. So there's a lot of competition. Like, what makes Talisman so special that they should get 75K per month? I just don't think that's very fair, in my opinion. And so I totally agree with what Alex is saying here from Promo Team. And he's saying that you're going to sell this on the market as well on a monthly basis. You're a commercial company. Why 100% of your costs need to be covered by the Polkadot Treasury? Add more paid feature for your users. Use validators and staking to earn for the operational costs. He's saying 0.25 dots commission for each additional staked dot bonded in a Talisman nomination pool. Quarter dot for staking 1 dot. What? These people will stake anyway with Talisman or without. There are a lot of teams who can explain people how to stake without asking for 0.25% for every dot they stake. Any commission received by Talisman, it's Polkadot Network commission, not Talisman. That is true. Now, the Talisman nomination pools, you can monetize your nomination pools as validators. It can be good reward for your hard work. This proposal will centralize Polkadot more. You already have 2 pools and you'll have resources to advertise more nomination pools, which is also not good. Diversity is the key for the success of Polkadot. So again, I agree with this. This does actually push more marketing towards Talisman, and I just don't think it's fair to the ecosystem, once again, especially because this is a humongous amount of money. I've never seen this in the history of Polkadot Open Gov since I've been covering these. Okay, so I'm sorry, but I just don't agree with this. I just don't think it's fair on the team. Again, Jodo has commented here. He's saying that if you want to create an incentive pool, it should be available to everyone. Yep, absolutely. Should be designed as a contest that allows all validators to participate and try to attract the tokens that are going to be unlocked and track if they end up being staked, and then reward the validators that manage to attract those dots. Ivy voted nay as well. Like, I like all of Ivy's comments because they seem to be very fair. You know, if you look at it from a fair point of view, Ivy is being fair. Let's face it. Okay, so let's read this comment as well. And we believe this framework has significant potential within the Polkadot ecosystem, provided it is for the right KPIs and accessible to a wide group of ecosystem agents. That said, Ivy is voting nay on this proposal for the following reasons. Talisman has not yet proposed curators for this bounty, which poses an extreme risk as curators control bounty distribution. We find the commission rate to be too rich. From our analysis of Talisman's past data, $3.09 million was nominated by 4,696 holders, which averaged 658 DOT per holder. From a user acquisition standpoint, the Treasury would be paying Talisman $658 per user acquisition. Now, that is insane. So much money for a single user, okay? Just keep that in mind. We acknowledge that it's difficult to justify the value of a single locked DOT user for 4 months, but the current rate strikes us as extremely aggressive, especially considering a 4-month commitment could be gamed based on the lack of proposed curators. Again, they have answered the curators question here, so you'll see that in a moment. But still, like, Ivy is absolutely right here. 658 per user, that is a lot of money. Now, the proposal doesn't include any specified product development or qualified features that are of value to the ecosystem. To be covering the entire Talisman's organization operating costs, again, this goes back to what I was saying earlier, just unfair to the rest of the community. There should be more to this proposal than purely business development related efforts. We do not believe that the KPI associated with this proposal is compelling based on the recent signal that the ideal staking rate will increase from 50 to 60%. Independent of this proposal, all DOT holders will be incentivized to stake more based on this parameter change. But unfortunately, this forum post doesn't work anymore. I think they've made this private because I've tried to open it just to see what it's about. But regarding the curators here, Agyle has responded. So Alice and Bob, growth leader Mangara is one of them. Also Lucas Vogelskank, who's the CEO of Centrifuge. Again, I'm going to do an interview with Lucas at some point in October. Hopefully he's not going to reschedule again. We were supposed to talk in September, then unfortunately he had to reschedule. But hopefully we can get talking about Centrifuge. But anyway, Sebastian Mueller as well, grants at Web3 Foundation. He's really good at reviewing the code, so apparently he's also going to be a curator for this as well. But again, the large ask, and I haven't even gotten to that yet, you know, feedback is pretty good here. So they're saying that some members expressed concerns about the KPI being used as the incentive mechanism. DOT staked in a Talisman nomination pool and suggested that this KPI could be gamed by investors in Talisman SAFT in order to further extend the runway of a project that they invested in. Also, some members expressed concerns about the requested amount. These funds will be used to fund the future development of Talisman, arguing that Talisman's previous SAFT, valued at a $40 million market cap, should provide the project's runway. But I really think that they've spent a lot of that money, and that's why they're looking for more money now. Again, this is just my opinion because it has been some time since Talisman has launched, and it is very likely that they have spent a lot of that money. And they're just desperate to get more users right now, and they're looking for funding, and they're trying to bring attention towards Talisman. And I've seen that happen in the events as well, in the conferences, like seeing Agyle get all hyped up and desperate to show Talisman and to promote it in an aggressive way. That's just my take from it. Like seeing his chat, seeing him talking, I didn't get that same feeling from Nova, who seemed to be more humble, and they are getting the funding. So it's just that aggressive attitude that I'm finding with Talisman. It's kind of disappointing in my opinion. And again, with this proposal, it is really, really concerning, to be fair. And Alice and Bob has also got some concerns, and he's down as a curator. So he's saying that there is a lot to criticize. Obviously, he likes the proposal as well. Like the idea overall would be nice if it wouldn't be strictly for Talisman. And again, not so much money, because that is a lot of money. So 75K per month, wow. Even Young Beef, who works for Subsocial, he says that he likes the general idea, but not this specific implementation for reasons already mentioned by others. Hopefully, he can find a better way to set it up. Young Beef has been a huge supporter of Talisman, and even he's saying this, like even he's not 100% on board with this. So once again, Agyle is being aggressive here, trying to prove the point, trying to say, we really need this, we can do this. And again, he's a very passionate dude. He's got a lot of knowledge, he's smart, right? But he's being aggressive. And when you're aggressive when it comes to these things, it can really turn against you eventually. So he has to be very careful, in my opinion, here. When it comes to asking for so much money, it's not a good look for Talisman. I'm just going to be honest with you here, right? Look how much they're asking for. So this is the shocker here. The maximum amount that you can ask from the treasury. I don't think you can ask for more than this, at least not in the big spender track. In the treasury track, you can ask for more, but you need a huge decision deposit. So 999,999 dot, and the proposed curator reward being 1%. So again, you can see more information here. They're basically like, this is so huge, it's going to take you a long time to read, okay, if you want to look into it. But you can do so, of course, if you go to their proposal, and you can see like a full description here. What they're going to do, how it's going to work, and I can imagine a lot of people have spent a lot of time trying to read this multiple times just to try to understand what they're doing here, because it can get very, very deep here. I mean, he's thought about this whole process. Think about it. Like, it must have taken him ages to come up with this process. But even so, it is a shame because of so much funding going towards Talisman. It is causing a problem. So let's move on here and look at Open Brush, referendum 153. They're requesting 14,833.62 dot here. And after so much drama with the Brushfam referendum on Kusama, they're back on Polkadot. They have listened to the community's feedback, which is great. And so they're trying again now. And let's look and see what this is about. Again, this is for funding of the second allocation of development for milestones 8, 9, and 11 for the Open Brush tool. Okay, and they've got partnerships with guys like Fala, with guys like Aleph Zero, and even Astar Network. And look, this is like the full list of stakeholders. Aleph Zero, Astar Network, Fala, Subwallet, Art Zero, ABIX Finance, A0AD, Panorama Swap, Andromeda Swap, Inkwhale, Interlock, Art Swap, Librum, like so many of them, right? As you can see here, Polkadot. So yeah, they've partnered with a lot, but unfortunately, because they had announced that they're leaving Polkadot, this has put them in a bad position right now. They likely should have waited and seen what the end result would be, but the fact that they've done that before the end of the proposal is having a backlash effect on them right now. And we can see that here, 53.7% in knee favor, and then 46.3% in I favor, and that's 12.4 million dot in knee votes, 10.7 million dot in I votes. And the first comment here from validator Saxenberg, who's been contributing to the ecosystem quite heavily as well, who's been contributing to Open Gov in many referendums that I've seen as well. He's saying, considering that Brushfam is exiting the ecosystem, and according to your latest post, is there a team or teams in the stakeholders and users list that is considering continuous support for Open Brush, either as a fork or as their own library? Also, don't forget the decision deposit. They're saying that they're going to honor their commitment and they'll continue maintaining them if the community will find them valuable and decide to fund it. Unfortunately, they cannot invest their money if the community doesn't think the product is important enough. So they're going to publish it, or the backlog, on GitHub as a GitHub issue shortly, and anyone in the eco could choose the interesting items from them to contribute to it by opening a pull request, and they can then review the changes and merge them if needed. This guy here is saying, seems pointless to support further development of a project that has announced leaving the ecosystem and has high likelihood for a sellout. So this person here is worried that they're going to get the funding and then they're going to disappear. But I don't know, who knows what's going to happen. So KryptosChain is again a very, very strong dot holder here who has a huge say in the ecosystem. Is saying attempts at destroying token value using hostile Twitter threads, Medium articles, and suspending GitHub source access have made it impossible for me to continue voting in support of your work. Regards. So they're saying here they're sad to see that you consider that, but yeah, I mean this is the thing. Like once you lose support, you know it's difficult. And Coinstudio is being pretty fair here. He understands this just like I do as well. I mean, they have been put in a difficult situation. They were frustrated and they acted with frustration. I'm not saying this was the only reason why they're announcing this. This was probably the cherry on top of the cake, as I mentioned in a comment here as well. You'll see my comment, but yeah, Coinstudio is pretty fair here, saying I understand the situation that you're put in, and I'm only voting I to comply with the previously agreed upon social contract. I am deeply disappointed with the way the team has handled this situation, though, particularly in closing the GitHub repo for previously paid deliverables. He finds these actions, including the way they advertise it on social media, to be similar to creating a hostage situation, which is unacceptable in a collaborative ecosystem. There's a lot of drama with this proposal here in the comments. It is sad, to see this, but this is the situation. So Ivy, again, great contributor, but he's trying to be fair here when it comes to the community. He is treating this from the community perspective. Remember, he's also a dot holder. He holds a lot of stake. He's saying here that hi Brushfam, independent of the nature of this proposal, these comments about Polkadot and so basically the tweets that they posted do not send a positive signal to other ecosystem teams interested in treasury funding. As a result, Ivy votes nay because this is hurting the ecosystem. Jodo is saying here, I think it sends the signal that it is important to follow the proper procedures by people that request referendums. Your first referendum was on Kusama, the second failed also on Kusama, and now you're trying again on DOT. Personally, I hope that you get paid, but I disagree on sending a wrong signal. The signal is ensure that you follow the proper procedure when requesting funds. In this case, get the full amount pre-approved and then use bounties and milestones. David is saying, my personal opinion is that you should not ask DOT holders to pay for a Kusama proposal. Theoretically, these are two different groups and stakeholders. I mean, he has a point, right? He has a point. Is Brushfam leaving or not? And then Alina, who works for Brushfam, is saying, yes, they are leaving. We are leaving, but we will honor our commitment first and finish the product. So that is the reason they're launching this referendum here with the proposal. They'll honor this and then they're going to live. We're no longer going to see proposals for funding. And so this is my comment here as the last one. The team's social contract wasn't previously honored on Kusama, and I think it's only fair for them to have it honored now. They have delivered a tool that's used by a number of Parachain teams. One of the reasons for the recent article was due to frustration from a rejected referendum, as I was saying earlier, topped with other things. Again, this wasn't the only reason why they've posted that article. Apparently, they've received some backlash behind the scenes and not enough support by parity. Apparently, that's what they're claiming. And so this was another one of the reasons. And then with this, coupled with this, no longer getting funding, brought them to this decision, and it was probably done out of frustration as well. You have to keep that in mind. This has happened to me as well when my proposals were not doing well. It is human. The human thing to do is you act on frustration. It is very hard sometimes to abstain. The professional way is to abstain, of course, and so that's why I'm going to try my best to abstain next time if things don't go my way and I don't manage to get it, despite the support I've offered the ecosystem. But I totally understand them. They've offered a lot of support towards this ecosystem, and then they got rejected, and so that did piss them off, and I can understand that. But they've started a lot of drama on social media, and it is putting a bad image towards Polkadot when it shouldn't have, because at the end of the day, it is a decentralized open governance system. So I decided to support them in this case, so I am voting aye for them. Let's move on to the next one here. This is Referendum 154, retroactive and future maintenance development funding for Parachains.info. And I have been using this website quite heavily, especially in the past when I used to speak about the crowd loans on Kusama and Polkadot quite heavily. because there was a lot of action back then. And I used to check parachains.info also with regards to new projects launching on Polkadot and Kusama. They would be on parachains.info, and you could check the summary, even tokenomics and stuff. So it's a pretty good website. If you haven't already checked it, I recommend it. They're looking for 22,400 DOT for their effort, which is worth approximately 92.1k. So apparently this proposal is seeking to obtain funding for continued operation, maintenance, and development of the website. Proposal covers 9 months period post-paid, December 2022 to August 2023, and a 3-month period prepaid, September 2023 to November 2023. So they're looking for a mix between retroactive funding and future funding, but mostly retroactive, as you can see here, quite a lot here. And so this is the proposal if you are interested, but they're not doing well right now, so we'll have to see if they manage to pass this. There are still a lot of days left. 20 There are still 19 days left, so many things could happen, but it's not passing. So 50.9% in nay votes and 49.1% in aye votes, $1.6 million in nays and $1.5 million in ayes. So we haven't seen votes from too many people yet. We may do again the Kusamarian here, Alex Mitrovic and myself. We haven't seen one from Ivy or from Jodo. I am curious if they're going to vote aye for this. I think that they will. I think Ivy is going to vote aye for this, so I think that they're going to pass eventually. So yeah, here's my comment as well. Having used Parachain Info's website, I am supporting this proposal, and so that's why I voted aye for this. Now let's move on to the next one because we've got a lot of ground to cover. There are a lot of interesting active referendums this week, so I'm really looking forward to discussing this and breaking this down because a lot of these are emotional as well if you think about it, right? There's a lot of emotion going behind these proposals if you look at it from a different point of view, and especially if you've met some of the individuals in person, you know, if you've been chatting to them, it's really insane. And this is what these proposals do to you. You know, you create these and you're putting in a lot of emotion into this, a lot of passion, and it can backfire as well, but it can also turn out good. It can have a happy ending. So that's the good thing about Open Gov, that it's always a mystery, right? Referendum 155 by Polkadot and Teddy DAO, a new way to leverage charitable giving in Web3. They're looking for 45,074 DOT in order to expand the Teddy DAO brand, which is aimed to help with donations. So this is the only donation service for the Polkadot ecosystem. And the team at Teddy DAO have been very, very active when it comes to joining different conferences to spread the word about Teddy DAO. So they're looking for funding here, a medium spender disbursement from the Polkadot Treasury in the amount of 45,074 DOT in order to improve the Teddy DAO product and co-market it alongside the Polkadot brand. Requested amount will be delivered to and administered by a multi-sig account. Once received, Teddy DAO can use these funds to directly support the future development of the project, as well as marketing initiatives aimed at bringing new users to the Polkadot ecosystem, including traditional Web2 donors. So yeah, basically what these guys are doing is they're using an auction system where you can bid for a Teddy. It's an NFT. You can't trade that Teddy right now. You probably will be able to at some point if you are interested to sell your Teddy maybe, but so you receive a Teddy if you won the bid, and then you're able to donate to your favorite charity from a list of charities, and this is a huge list of charities that you can donate to. So what happens is that this is on the Moonbeam blockchain, at least right now, and you can donate using Glimmer coins, and so that Glimmer gets sold and converted to fiat so that they can donate to that charity that you've chosen. Okay, so that is pretty interesting here. It's an interesting system where you can do that, and you can even benefit for tax purposes if you are interested. I know that there are people that donate large amounts of funding and they can benefit by reducing tax because you do get a receipt as well from them. So they've partnered with Just Giving, which is one of the largest online donation platforms in the world, and that has raised over £6 billion for charity. And so this is great. You know, again, they're not the only partners with Just Given. I'm sure that others have partnered with them. It is good that we're seeing a lot of donations from the ecosystem, and it shows that people care. You know, people have a heart. And again, I've always been saying that the Polkadot ecosystem has been pretty good in general, right? Of course, there will always be haters as well and people that, you know, don't deserve a place in the ecosystem, but the majority of people have a good heart and they're there to support, they're there to help, you know, so that's really, really good. What's interesting from this proposal is that their all-time high donation thus far was 5,000 Glimmer, or 1200 USD at the time. So that is a huge donation. Yeah, they've got a lot of support here. Look, as you can see, like looking at this, what are they in, like 20 days left before the decision of this. So day 8 out of 28, and the 93.9% in I votes and 6.1% in nay votes. $21.8 million in I votes. That is a lot, and $1.4 million in nays. So surprisingly, a lot of people are against this as well. Bill is a big fan. Bill from the Web3 Foundation, of course. He's also got Teddy himself. I've also got a Teddy. So yeah, Teddy DAO is good. Fund them. And now this person here is a bit of a troll. He's saying that it can bring too much value to Polkadot. And again, I mean, it is supposed to be a charity project, so you got to think of that, right? It is charity. It's not supposed to bring value to the dot holder, but it is going to bring value because it's going to expose Polkadot to the wider audience. So people from Web2 are going to hear of Polkadot. It's like, this is how much money has been donated by Polkadot, by the decentralized community, right? So that is going to be good. It's still a way of marketing it. Let's go down here. So kudos to the team for doing this. We should touch base to discuss NFTs by Alex Mitrovic. Now Ivy has commented here that Hi Lucky Friday, this represents a compelling charitable initiative and the one that can help elevate Polkadot's brand beyond solely a blockchain ecosystem and instead a network with increasing real-world connectivity and awareness. To achieve the above goal, they support the principle of allocating a modest amount of the Treasury towards charitable initiatives such as this proposal on an annual basis. We find the rates included in the budget to be reasonable and are familiar with Just Given's reputation. For these reasons, Ivy votes aye. We support Teddy DAO's efforts as well. Cool experiment, support. Yeah, I've also left a comment here. So yeah, I mean, it's just think about the people that they're helping, right? All these different charities, right? So much funding is going to charities to help make life better for many people around the world who are in need. So just think about that, right? Before you vote. Vote with your heart, don't vote with your head, as they say, you know. So at least for this one, because this is about a charity. So don't think of profits all the time and just think of what you can actually help, right? And this is the thing with Teddy DAO. They are there to help. Let's move on to the next one here. Now this was created by Coinstudio. He wants to tip system Parachain collators because they're not getting anything. 512.62 DOT is what he's looking for here to be able to fund them. But he's creating this because referendum 151 failed to execute due to some issues with the batch calls that were included in the extrinsics when he created the pre-image. And so he created the right pre-image now, and he believes that this is going to work. He's getting a lot of support here, as you can see. He's still got 20 days left before decision, but 94.8% in I votes, 5.2% in nay votes, so 13.5 million DOT in I votes here with 743.2k in nay votes. So there are still some haters around who will just vote nay on everything regardless. And as you can see here, this is who is going to fund Iceberg Nodes, Lucky Friday, Paranodes, Polkadotters, Stake Plus, SIG, TurboFlix, Coinstudio himself. Yeah, I'm in support of this, of course. I voted aye for this. Let's move on and talk about the next one here. And this is Referendum 157. And this is a bit of a this is a bit of a troll one in my opinion, because they're looking to increase DOT media visibility through media buying and airdrop campaign. From airdrop.com is requesting 247,058 DOT. Now that is a lot of money that he's requesting for a campaign to include DOT in the airdrop.com website and to airdrop users 1 DOT. Okay, and the reason they're doing 1 DOT is to force people to send that DOT to the exchange and to use some of the features within Polkadot, which is to send the full amount and to reap the account. So that's a really, really strange way to advertise Polkadot. And aside from that, I'm not a huge fan of airdrop.com. If you look at the website, and we are going to look at it for a bit. Yeah, ultimately what they're trying to do is to create a knowledge quiz and visual content creation. They want to create high quality informational video content, media buying as well, distribution of DOT through airdrop, and KYC to avoid multiple claims and user support. Their aim is to reach 61,000 new DOT adopters. Now, one of the concerns here is with KYC, like who the heck is going to KYC for a single DOT as an airdrop, right? Especially because those documents could be used for unlawful purposes. You don't know that, right? I mean, would you feel comfortable to submit your document for like, what, $4 right now, 1 DOT? I don't know. I mean, that's really, really weird. And I don't think it's going to work out. It just seems like a grift attempt here, to be fair. And it very likely could be, but they just placed it in a well-positioned manner to try to make it seem attractive to your average user because they're thinking, look, their aim is to reach 61,000 dot holders. But the question is, will all these people really turn into users or will they just be looking to sell straight away? And what are you going to do with their KYC? Do you really think you're going to get that much? Like, what's going to happen if you don't get it? What's going to happen if not that many people are going to KYC and you're not going to be able to airdrop it to them, right? So will you be sending that dot back to the treasury or will you keep it and find some other excuse not to give it? So that's the other question you got to ask yourself before you vote aye here. So they're saying here that one dot is not enough for users to use all the available features directly, but that is not their aim. The one dot is an incentive to lead the users through being aware of all the cool possibilities dot offers, overcoming the initial step of setting up a wallet, and wanting to buy more dot in order to try out the cool features they have discovered in the information material. Now again, it could happen, but I doubt that's going to happen. Because of the KYC bit, I just don't think that for the amount they're offering, somebody's gonna be willing to KYC. They may be willing to KYC if they're gonna get like $100 maybe, but even then it is quite high risk. So I just don't see this happen in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, who knows, maybe. So Saxenberg here has left the first comment with 10 minutes of research or use would have shown new people that the existential deposit for the network is one dot, hence making it very difficult for participants of such prospective airdrop to do anything other than sending it back to an exchange. Moreover, unspecified items like media buying for 600k, 50k for one promotional video of no information, about a KYC company that will do the task for 14k, showing little detail and research this proposal has, especially when considering the amount requested, which is $1 million. This will be a nay from us, so of course it makes sense here. Now they've come back with an answer here saying who's the KYC provider, but I mean, this is ridiculous, right? Come on, let's be fair here. Are you out of your mind? 1 million in dot for this. In addition, you're requesting 80k payment for a video and a questionnaire. I can't stand it anymore. Seeing more and more of those dot treasury robbery attempts, it disgusts me. 200 million time nay. I don't know if he really has 200 million, but Tobias. This is Tobias here. You could see his information, a Polk assembly post, element, Discord, nothing on LinkedIn here for Tobias. He's afraid to post more information about himself here, but he's saying that they've got quite a team here with extensive experience. Why Polkadot? Polkadot has an interesting ratio of high potential, thus its visibility could be improved through marketing. Yeah, but not with this strategy. And look at their website here. I mean, it looks pretty crappy if you look at it, right? And a lot of these are absolutely crap, like on BNB chain, Orderly Network, ApeSwap, B-Launch, Vigo, Burger Cities. I mean, a lot of these are absolutely crap, to be fair. And look at this as well. Like how many people have watched this? Like 341, 946, 1,000 people because it's an airdrop. 10,990 people for Orderly Network. That might be a more serious project, hence why they got more. 324. It's hard to say if a lot of this is even legit. Perhaps a lot of this is fake as well. So fake volume, fake views. Now this is the one with the drama as well. This is had an even bigger drama than Brushfam, and I'm going to talk about this in detail as well. So prepared for a lot of drama for this one. Referendum 158, Polkaworld Ops and Maintenance Proposal between October of 2023 and March of 2024. They're looking for 32,420 dot for their effort, and this is of course the team that is well known in China apparently for promoting Polkadot. But wait until we get to the end of this proposal because I'm going to talk about some interesting aspects here and a lot of drama that has been going around with this proposal as well. So after the 116th Open Gov referendum was rejected, Polkaworld has made adjustments to the proposal based on community feedback. This is a proposal for community operational funding from October 2023 to March 2024. In this proposal, for those who may not be familiar with Polkaworld, we've included a story of Polkaworld as well as the philosophy and principles we've adhered to over the past 4 years of operation. We've also made adjustments and optimizations to our work tasks for the next 6 months. In addition to content production, we've expanded to include marketing efforts as well. In addition to the revised OKRs and budget, we've also addressed questions raised by the community, so you can review their proposal there. But before we look at that, thanks for sticking around. We certainly appreciate your work and we'll be happy to see you continue. This is from Alex Mitrovic. There's no big change in the new referendum after the old one was rejected. Now need double the money for double the time and get whale support. We should decrease paying for media, they're saying here. Extend to marketing. Was your goal before to just make content? Shouldn't it have been to market and promote the DOT program? The work you guys were doing before had no goals and no results to present. Got no results as much as got DOT grants. That is, the value of giving and getting was not equal. And now applying for more dots, the community shouldn't agree to this kind of team that has no goals and no accountability for results. Teams that suck the blood out of the community with limited contributions should be eliminated. Ask the community to vote no. Previous 700,000 dot in grants, just 10,000 followers on Twitter and reads in the hundreds, dozens at a time. Also, the numbers of WeChat are pitifully low. Such a result, yet it costs $700,000. You should not apply for grants. Sean Lin had deleted his comment here. I'm not sure why, but I do have a next post from Sean, which you're going to find really interesting. So make sure you stick to the end here if you've watched so far. Now, the Polkaworld team consists of only 2-3 people, but requires a half a year funding of 1 million RMB and an average salary of up to 50,000 RMB per person. This is the income of a very high income group in China. And this income is completely mismatched with the current state of the DOT ecosystem and the contributions they make. Previous, again, so just reiterating here with the 700K. Polkadot used the strike and spread the word in the media about how democratic and good Open Gov they were before, and as soon as it came to the rejection and of their application for grants, they immediately started criticizing Open Gov. This kind of profit only is not the kind of partner the DOT ecosystem needs, and I hope that people will vote no and reject such teams that scam DOT grants while bringing very limited value to the table. They're taking this as a highly profitable business because this business is too profitable. So somebody left a comment here saying the value of a media team should be judged according to its influence. If all of the ones followed by Polkaworld are someone who care about Polkadot, it is worth more. The team grows together with Polkadot. Please take a look at what the Chinese DOT ambassadors have to say. Posted in a comment. They're so greedy, so shady. An average Chinese media person only gets 10,000, 20,000 RMB, probably less for a lot of work and a lot of KPIs, while they are asking for 50,000 per person, probably more for very little work based on their hourly rate and work plan. This is a really interesting story. They got funding before because they were close to the Polkadot Council, and the referendum was easy to pass, which is why they failed the first time, which was voted on by DOT holders in OpenGov. Please don't turn a blind eye to these disgusting people. They did nothing but only dumping with useless work. Polkaworld team, if you really have something to describe as VC funds rather than treasury funds. Why so much opposition this time? They did see what the team did, and that's why they gave the community feedback. Because in China, DOT is referred to as a scam project from Shanghai thanks to them. Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, we're gonna look at that in a moment because I really want to talk about that X post, which I think you're gonna find interesting about Polkaworld. They're looking to publish 144 articles related to Polkadot and its ecosystem on the Polkaworld WeChat official account. And given that they're currently in a bear market, they'll do our best to disseminate each article in a way that garners over 1,000 plus reads, distributing all content across the 4 largest blockchain media outlets in China. And they're going to produce 24 articles per month related to Polkadot, Kusama, Parachains, Eco Project, Subsquid, General, Polkadot, etc. 6 days a week. So again, this is for 6 months. But now let's look at the tweets. So this is Sean Lin, who has deleted his comment on Polka Assembly. I'm not sure if he deleted it or if somebody could have deleted it from Polka Assembly because maybe he was being too rude. This is just my assumption. I don't know the backstory, but I just saw deleted there. So I'm questioning it after reading this X post, which is super interesting because this reveals something about Polkaworld. Now, OpenGov 158, referring to Polkaworld. In just the previous 2 years, Polkaworld has become China's largest Polkadot monopoly organization, but Polkadot's reputation has become the scam project from Shanghai. Party tech should no longer have any illusions about the Polkadot Chinese community. Now let's scroll down. Polkadot claims to be a non-profit organization, but they ask the project that they serve to pay service fees or consulting fees. They are milking the treasury while charging fees from the project side. This is incredible. How in the world can they say that they're a non-profit organization, but they're asking for so much money? They should have been transparent from the start. I am being funded by the treasury, just like I am in my videos when I do videos for which I was funded from the treasury. I say that this has been funded by the treasury through decentralized open governance voting. So they should be transparent as well. And seeing this from Sean has shocked me, to be fair. And we'll talk about Sean in a moment as well to see who he is, because he's not just any community member. Now, in Hangzhou, China, where they are based, the average salary for people aged 22 to 30 is 6,000 yuan, which is $820 a month. I can guarantee that a qualified video editor can be hired for $800 a month. The budget for all roles is too exaggerated. So here's the budget here broken down. And then he's saying that the average salary in China is $450 a month, and most ordinary Chinese people will never earn $300,000 in their lifetime. But this 6-month proposal requires $150,000. I foolishly guessed that Polkaworld is trolling the entire Open Gov. Elaborated Polkadot trolling. There are many seemingly calculated numbers here, which are 29.94, 44.91, and even 44.44. The Chinese meaning is just go die. Damn, what the heck is this? I'm not sure what he means here with this, but just go die. I agree on an independent organization. I'm not sure what he means here. I agree on. He wanted to write something there. Maybe Polkaworld as an independent organization should have its own revenue model instead of relying on Polkadot Treasury. Best regards. And so yeah, this is what he's tweeted here. This is absolutely insane here from Sean Lin. Let me show you who Sean Lin is, because you probably don't know. Sean Lin is a founder. He's been in Polkadot since 2019 as a Polkadot ambassador, and he's also Chinese apparently, or maybe he's partially Chinese, I'm not sure. 2020 proud early investor in Lit Entry, Remark App, Codadot, Invarge, Subsquid, GameDAO, advisor at Skylabs Corp as well. And he's working with onepar.com. Okay, so really interesting here that he's broken this down and he's opened our eyes to what's going on here. So this is an interesting one. He's saying here, if that brilliant Chinese community operation proposal gets passed, I might just quit this ecosystem, which is full of nepotism. It's totally nepotism, eh? So he got really annoyed with this proposal. I have been running China since April 2021. How in the world, to not say the F word, did the Chinese community be ruined like this today? And Sean also got blocked by Polkaworld as well. So you can see here, you're blocked. Polkaworld are not happy with this because Sean basically opened many people's eyes. And I hope that I have opened your eyes because of Sean's posts here, which are really interesting, to be fair. I mean, he doesn't have a reason to be bullshitting here from what he's been saying. So we'll have to see how things go for this team. Yeah, I mean, just to go back to this here, I mean, it is passing at the moment with 69.1% in I votes and 30.9% in knee votes, $10.6 million in support and $4.8 million against it. And there are still 21 days left. So again, many things could happen here. Perhaps it's going to pass, perhaps not, especially if Sean's post is going to be spread to more people and more people are going to see this, especially .whales. And Referendum 159, which is for the moderation team bounty curator proposals. So they're just basically looking to get the curator team on board here with this specific proposal. If this passes, then the curator team is going to be there, and then they're going to have the bounty live for the moderation team who haven't been funded other than tips till now, right? They haven't been getting like constant funding, whereas with this bounty, they're going to be in short constant funding from the ecosystem, which is great for their efforts because they have been supporting this ecosystem, answering people's questions, helping on Reddit, etc. So as it stands, it is losing, unfortunately, with $1 million in knees, 751.8K in eyes, as you can see, but we'll see what will happen. There's still a lot of time left. And let's talk about this other one here. Now, talking about Chinese media, so we're looking at Polkaworld, who had a lot of drama behind them. But now we've got DrCAO, who has the Web3 education platform behind them. He's the AI Web3 Chinese unit proposal. That's what he calls it. This is for 16,231 DOT. And he's looking for funding between September of 2023 and March 2024 with referendum 160. Now the referendum is currently failing, but not by a large margin. So 55.3% in knee votes, 44.7% in I votes, so $2.6 million in knee votes, $2.1 million in I votes. But again, very early. It's just day 4 out of 28 days, so still plenty of time left for the drama. A lot of drama is about to unfold for this. So they're giving us a bit of background here. Again, their proposal or referendum was rejected on Kusama. I don't know why people are still launching on Kusama right now, because it's not easy to get a pass there given the treasury situation. So people should just launch on Polkadot instead. I'm assuming it's because of the waiting time you're waiting for 14 days rather than 28 days. So people are usually choosing Kusama because of that. So yeah, they've been educating the Polkadot community for quite some time in the Kusama community. And DrCAO has been a contributor to WAG Media as well, which was an initiative to get translation units for different languages to support the Polkadot ecosystem by translating various articles, be it from the wiki page, being tutorials, being guides, you know, from the Polkadot wiki in different languages. And DrCAO was leading the Chinese unit. He wasn't working alone. Of course, there were other people contributing, but anyway, this proposal is looking for funding in order to translate more materials. Not only that, but also produce videos. So he's also going to work with this other individual called Xiu Kai, which is going to oversee the ambassador program and the Polkadot Academy initiative. And I've also left a comment here, so let's take a look at that. Okay, so I commented here that I voted aye because I worked as an indirect colleague with DrCAO during the WAG Media contribution times in 2022, and he's a hardworking individual who has contributed to Polkadot with articles for the Chinese community. Now, but I do have some feedback as a fellow creator. So the thumbnails that I've been seeing for these channels are not that great. So we've got this channel here and we've got this channel here. Let me open them so you can see. So we've got DrCAO's channel here, 638 subscribers. That's fine, right? He has uploaded 503 videos, so that is quite a lot. But the thumbnails are not great, unfortunately. I mean, look at these thumbnails here. You know, it's not attractive. And this is one of the things when you're doing YouTube videos, you need to make those thumbnails better, you know, in order to attract an audience. Like the views are not that bad for some of them, right? As you can see, the tutorials are quite good, like a tutorial on how to claim PDEX crowd loan rewards and stuff like that, right? So, you know, a lot of the videos are good, but the thumbnails aren't great, you know, so he could really, really improve on that. And I'm seeing the same issue here with Sukai Finance, who's got 1.7k subscribers, 231 videos. Look, they're just basically taking screenshots of what they're talking about and using those as thumbnails. So, you know, this looks like a scam from many people's eyes when they first see this. You know, like when you see this on YouTube nowadays, it's like scammy. Whereas when you see a proper thumbnail, it's more likely you're going to click on it if it looks interesting. And then, of course, you're going to look at the title as well, because the first thing you see is the thumbnail, right? You're probably not going to look at the title unless you really, really need something specific. But the first thing you'll see is the thumbnail and then the title. You know, so seeing these thumbnails to me is just not attractive, right? I'm not going to click on a video like this if I see other videos talking about it. So unless they're like the only ones doing this kind of content, absolutely the only ones, then I'm just not seeing too much hype here. But again, it is good that he's been speaking about Glimmer, for example, here with the Upbit listing from what I'm getting here, Upbit Glimmer, right? He's also been speaking about Solana XRP, but then Moonbeam Master. There is a lot of potential with this channel, but he needs to improve the thumbnail. So yeah, the reason I really voted aye is because I know that they're hardworking individuals and they can help promote Polkadot in China. You know, we do need more promotion in China. This is clear, right? Not just in China, but in Asia in general. And so DrCAO does have the potential, but I really believe that he needs to step up his game when it comes to these YouTube thumbnails and then maybe promote it better, right? But he is a translator, so perhaps because he doesn't have the knowledge, you know, on how to do it, or maybe he doesn't know anybody who can do those cool thumbnails, you know, that could be problematic to him as well, because you obviously need to pay somebody to be in charge of doing that all the time on a regular basis. So I recommended him to watch this channel here, Think Media, which teaches you how to improve your YouTube channel. So as a creator, he should try to do that. Let's look at the last proposal in today's video, and this is Referendum 161 by Apillon. Platform milestone 1 proposal. They're requesting 171,454.05 DOT, which is a lot of money. But this is a new proposal that they've created because they initially launched a bounty which had failed and they got a lot of heat for that. And so they came back with this proposal and they're hoping that this is going to pass. They're saying that the Apillon platform has approximately 888 developers and users. The active users are 432 or developers, and the number of projects created 523. Service breakdown, Web3 storage, 47,692 files were uploaded. 31 gigs of data, Web3 hosting as well. 174 web pages have been hosted, 72 pushed to production. With regards to NFTs, 151 NFT collections were created, 53 powered by Moonbeam, 86 powered by Moonbase. So they're saying here that Apillon is the first Polkadot project actively offering services to application layer Web3 developers. The Apillon Platform serves as Polkadot's answer to Third Web, Morales, Pinata, and other solutions already thriving in external ecosystems. Apillon would open source every single line of code, allowing anyone to run a clone of the platform services independently. Apillon would funnel a share of revenue into an independent bounty fund controlled by Polkadot Parachain representatives to fund projects seeking to build on Apillon, further extending the adoption loop by appealing to a wide scope of audiences, from freelancers to enterprise users. Apillon is the first project that provides access to multiple mature Polkadot parachains and their services and utilizes underlying tokens when simplifying the payment process. Apillon is directly promoting the ecosystem partners and boosting the growth of the Polkadot network through executing the business side via DOT, Crust, Glimmer, Kilt, and other DOT-based tokens. Apillon provides a forever freemium business model with a wide range of services, lowering the threshold for entering the Web3 space through a newbie-proof Web2 building logic. You can check out the full proposal, of course, if you want to, yeah, I love that Apillon did not give up. He voted aye. Polkadot needs real innovation and real use case. Stop robbing the treasury, which is unfair to DOT holders. Failed and robbed the treasury again. Disgusting. Voted aye because Apillon platform really has some awesome features. So yeah, 680.3k DOT in aye votes, 529.6k in nay votes, only 56.2% in favor right now. But this is day one of 28, so many things can happen, right? In 27 days. We'll have to see if they're going to get the whale support they need in order to win this. Looking at the Apillon proposal here, the other thing that I've noticed here that maybe you should be aware of is that Apillon are going to have a token as well, right? Apillon's NCTR token is focused primarily on product governance, allowing all participants to vote on product deliverables. Okay, so they do have a coin, and that Apillon would funnel a share of revenue into an independent bounty fund controlled by Polkadot Parachain representatives to fund projects seeking to build on Apillon, further extending the adoption loop. And so yeah, this is pretty much it with Apillon here. As you can see, you know, if you had watched the previous videos where I spoke about the bounty as well, you get more information there. I've also interviewed one of the team members, Matthias. He was actually the same guy who has launched this proposal. If we look at his name here, Matthias, yeah, is the exact same guy who I've interviewed. So I'm going to post a link to that interview if you are interested to check it out at the end of this video for Apillon. Yeah, let's end this with the DOT Treasury here and see the situation. So 45.18 million DOT are still available in the treasury, which equates to 180.62 million DOT to be awarded 309.3k DOT, which is worth 1.2 million. Next burn is going to be of 451,076k. So burning is always more than awarding, which is good because this helps with deflation, to be fair, given that the inflation is as it is, right? The spending period is 10 days and 6 hours. So in 10 days and 6 hours, we're going to get the reset, which means that everyone who's got their referendum passed are going to get paid in 10 days and 6 hours, okay, in this round. The round consisting of 24 days, as we can see here. So that is the spending period round. So yeah, this is pretty much it. Thank you for watching. I know this was a very long video, so I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch and staying with me till the end. If you have done so, please don't forget to hit the like. Also drop a comment below. Please be active in the community because I do want to know your thoughts on some of these proposals. Like, have you voted for any of them? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.